Hey, what's going on, guys? Hello, hello. Danzi there in the chat. Hello. Let me go ahead and make this small adjustment like this. Okay? Yeah, okay, sure. Welcome to Valentine's Day. Oh, yes. How could we forget? Today is also Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, guys. We'll get started here in just a second because we've got two kits to build. Obviously, the Dendrobium itself is all done. If you guys didn't see the live streams last week, hey guys, if you guys didn't see the last live streams last week, built the Dendrobium over the course of 2 live streams, almost finished, but I did go ahead and finish off camera. If you guys watched on Friday, yeah, I couldn't finish the build on camera just because my nose was bothering me. I was sick on Friday, basically. I was doing my best, but it was like wearing me out. But I did go ahead and finish after the live stream finished. I'll show you guys that here in just a second. But hey, hello, yes, happy Valentine's Day. Man, the Gerbera Tetra is one of the coolest Zeke mobile suits. Yeah, it's a really cool kit. One that, I mean, when it first came out, I thought, man, that looks really cool. I didn't buy one, though, when it first came out. I don't remember particularly why. Let's see, it came out in 2013. So at that time, depending on what time of the year it came out, I was in Japan at that time. 2013 is when I moved from Japan back to Korea. So I don't know, I just didn't pick it up at the time, and I did get it. I've had it for quite a while, so I probably got it a few years later after that, probably around 2017, I guess, probably is when I got this. And what I got it in was in like kind of a bulk. It was for like a advertising deal with I think it was I can't even remember the name of it. It was for one of those Japanese Japan proxy service websites where like you can order stuff like off Yahoo Auction like through this website, and like they'll like get it for you and then ship it to you, that kind of thing. And what I got was like a set somebody was selling like on the Yahoo Auction, Japanese Yahoo Auction or something. It was like a set of like 4 or 5 or 6 like HGUC kits, something like that. And this was one of the kits in that set that I got from that. And I've just kind of had it ever since. I've not ever built it up, but I figure, you know, I've always wanted to build it up. I just haven't ever got around to it. And now that we're building the Dendrobium, it kind of makes sense. Might as well build the Gerbera Tetra as well. So I pulled this out of the backlog and we'll go ahead and build it up. It's a fairly simple kit. I mean, it's pretty straightforward HG. It's not going to take all that much time. Both of these, actually, the GP03, of course, is quite old, so it's going to be relatively simple as well. But hey, guys, let's see. Supido Baka is here too. Supido Baka Mark, what's going on? Taco Tuesday plus Valentine's Day. Yeah, that would be a good idea, actually, to go out for Mexican food today. Would have been a good idea, but we just had a bunch of that on Sunday, on Super Bowl Sunday. If you guys watch the Super Bowl, I'm not really into football at all, but I did watch the Super Bowl a little bit. Went over to my neighbors, we watched it, and we hung out. We ate a lot of like Mexican type food at that time. So let's see, but it was a good time. I'm in and listening, Robert said, but I won't be chatting as much. That's fine, Robert. Anyway, thanks for popping in, hanging out. Of course, if any of you guys have questions about anything along the way, it can be related to these builds, you know, or anything else you guys may want to chat about, just feel free to pop your questions there in the chat. And also feel free to put your question in all caps. That way it's easier for me to pick it out of the chat there. So long as you're not abusing and spamming the all caps, that's fine. Okay. We're going to build the GP03 first. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So as you'll maybe have guessed, let's see. Love afternoon builds. I have you on in the background while I'm at work. Awesome. The GP03 manual is here at the back of the Dendrobium manual, so we're building it last. On that note, let me go ahead and show you the Dendrobium. Oh my gosh, it's so heavy. It's so huge. Like the containers themselves, like building the main back part was huge, but like the containers are just so ridiculously large. But here we are. I'll show it to you guys on this camera and try not to knock anything with the gigantically long cannon. But yeah, it's is pretty huge. Yeah, can be like a body for me. But yeah, I mean, I can't really show you on this camera. It just will just take up the entire frame. But on a real quick note about this, that on Friday, I had the idea of painting this in like Maschinen Krieger styling. And I was really excited about the idea. And I thought about it some more over the weekend. And I thought, yeah, actually, that would be a really good idea. And so I thought about exactly how to do it. And I think what I'm going to do, just to give you guys a kind of sneak peek, kind of heads up as to what I want to do with this. And again, just because of how much stuff there is going on all the time, you know, I really don't want to promise anything, you know, but really hoping that I'll be able to work on this some more, painting it up fully and everything, because I do really like this idea. But the idea is to, there we go. I didn't have that popped in there all the way. The idea is to use the Lunadiver Stingray. So I thought about a couple of different options for how I might want to use this in Maschinen Krieger style. So aside from just painting it in like Maschinen Krieger style, I didn't want to have the GP03 in here just because that didn't really fit, I thought. I don't know, I guess you could make it fit, but what I thought would be more interesting would be to put an actual Maschinen Krieger kit in here. And at first I was thinking, you know, obvious thought would be like one of the 120 scale suits, like a Super Ball or Fireball, something like that. I was thinking maybe, and it would look okay, I think, but probably a little bit weird just because it just kind of doesn't really fit that well, I felt like, just stylistically. But then I thought, since the idea for the painting came from thinking of like the Lunadiver, how about just using an actual Lunadiver in here? And so even I wasn't sure how well it was going to fit because the Lunadiver is a quite large Maschinen Krieger kit as far as Maschinen Krieger kits go. It's like one of the larger ones. And so I thought, I'm not sure how well it's going to kind of fit in this space, but I tested it out because I actually have a Lunadiver kit that's kind of mostly all built up. It's just not painted yet. And I kind of tested it, just kind of holding it here in the space, seeing how well it might look and how it might fit. And I think it's going to actually fit really well. I will have to like cut up that kit a little bit, but okay, yeah. Let me just take care of this here real quick. Let's see. I want to not do that. I can't, unfortunately, I can't ban someone on Twitch from this platform right here. I'll have to open it up on Twitch, but hopefully that commenter there on Twitch won't be hanging around. But anyway, just real quick. Yeah, so the Lunadiver, yeah, I have one Lunadiver Stingray that's kind of already mostly all built up, but I don't want to cut up that one because I have a different plan for what I want to do with that. I have another Lunadiver kit that's just brand new, still not assembled yet, so I'll build that one, kind of halfway build that one, because yeah, I'm gonna have to like just kind of build up the main hull and then kind of cut that up a bit in order to make it so it actually kind of fits in here. So there'll be a little bit of customization, kit bashing, just to kind of make it fit here in the center spot. So it's going to be like kind of the front half of the Lunadiver here in this section where the Gundam would go, and that's what would be kind of sticking out there. So yeah, that's the idea for that. And I think that'll be quite interesting, so long as I can manage to stick with the idea, follow through, and pull it off. But in the meantime, let's for now at least finish up the GP03 so that I can do my review of that big boy, and then we'll see where we can go from there. So someone was asking in the chat about my sticker here on my box. This is a Shenhe sticker on this box, and on my Gerbera box it is a Yunjin sticker. Yes, I talked about that in a live stream 2 weeks ago or something, that I really wanted. I see online every now and then like these cool Genshin stickers, and I want to get them, but I don't really know where to put them. Like I don't really do stickers usually like on stuff. But I thought the stickers look really cool, so I want to get some. So I thought, oh, all right, well, I'll just order a few stickers and, you know, I'll find a place to put them. So order the stickers, got them, and I'm just thinking like, where can I put these things? And then, yeah, I just had the idea to just stick them on my boxes here. That works well enough. So, yeah. Didn't know you were a Genshin man. Yep, yes. It's the only game that I play these days. Just, you know, between work and family and all that, just don't really have time to play games. I can manage a little bit of time every day to play at least one game. So if it's only got to be one game, then it's just Genshin for me for the time being. Yep. What AR are you? I'm AR 60. So yeah, I've been playing since like 1.1. So I've been playing for a while, and yeah, I mean, I play pretty regularly. So at least, I mean, I play every day at least to just like log on and do like my dailies and all that good stuff, and then, you know, have some fun doing other stuff when I can. I love probably like what made me fall in love with the game at the start, and is still probably my favorite aspect of the game, is just like all the exploration. That's what I really like about that game, because before starting playing the game, I had been looking around for if there was any like good mobile game, and I play on mobile, by the way. If there was any good mobile game that just had a really nice exploration feature, just like one that I could just, you know, explore around in a nice kind of beautiful scenery, and it wasn't like too intensive, just because, yeah, like I said, I don't have a lot of time to just like play games. So I didn't want anything that was too intensive. Where's this piece I'm missing? Here's one. The other one is there. It was hiding there. And I had found this one game. I can't remember what it's called now, but there was a game that I found that was like a just kind of an open world exploration game. But the problem was that it was good for just like exploring around beautiful like scenery, but like that was all. There was like no other gameplay to it at all. So that like didn't really work. And yeah, then I saw like the previews for Genshin, and typically it wouldn't have been something I think that I normally would be into. Just because I'm not really into like fantasy kind of type stuff, monsters, dragons, like wizards, witches, stuff like that, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter type of things. I'm just not really into that whole kind of genre. And just like based off the trailers, I don't know, but I mean, like I saw the trailers and it looked visually very pretty. So I thought, oh, I'll give it a try and just kind of see how the game is. And to be honest, like in the first like 30 minutes or so of it, I didn't really kind of enjoy it like right off the bat, but I stuck with it a little bit just because it was a really pretty game. And yeah, eventually, you know, after playing for, I don't know, maybe about an hour or so, like I was getting into it well enough. The combat was fun. The exploration was really fun. I mean, I guess in like the first hour or so of the game, there's probably not that much in the way of combat, maybe just like a very rudimentary kind of tutorial introduction to the gameplay, basically, and that's probably about it. But no, yeah, and I've stuck with it ever since. I enjoy it a lot. It's a really fun game for me, just because, like I said, it's not too intense. It's something that I can just play a little bit each day, and I have a lot of fun with it. And yeah, I enjoy the exploration, but I enjoy, of course, collecting stuff, getting new characters and all that when they come out. For the most part, I'm free to play. Every once in a while, I'll, like very, very rarely, I'll spend money on like actual pulls. Usually like every month I'll spend like, it's like $15 for like the Welkin Moon pass and like the battle pass. But other than that, just don't really spend money for just Primo Gems. I did unfortunately have to a little bit for Alhaitham in the most recent previous banner before the current one, just because I had a bunch of pulls saved up. I lost the 50-50 and pulled Mona, who was fine because I actually do enjoy playing Mona, so that was, you know, not a terrible loss, but pulled Mona, and then was really wanting Alhaitham just because his playstyle is really fun, and it was trying and like doing as much, like all the different events and all the different quests and everything that I possibly could to try to like scrape up all the primo gems that I could, like doing everything, anything and everything that would give me any primo gems, but just wasn't happening. So I did end up having to spend like $30 to finally pull Alhaitham. But that's like, I think the only time that I've spent more. I guess that's not true. For Eula, I did have to spend some money for her too, but that was fortunately thanks to the help of you guys. Maybe not you particular guys, but the people who are watching at that time. I have done a couple of live streams in the past. You guys can go back. It's like the couple of times I've ever done any kind of gaming live streams. It was just streaming from my phone, so I just play on mobile. That's it. And at the time is when Eula came out, and so was pulling for Eula, and it just wasn't happening. And thanks to the support of people who were watching the live stream and very kindly donating, we were finally able to pull Eula. So I think that was the only other time that I really spent any kind of money to be sure to get a particularly like a new character or whatever. So yep, that's the story. Sorry, it was a very long explanation as to answer that question. In the meantime, we got the legs all built up, and let me go ahead and actually zoom in and look at a little bit, because now that we're not building the Dendrobium unit itself, we don't need to be that far zoomed out, I guess, right? And also adjust the light a little bit and the focus now that I'm already like 15 minutes in to the build. Probably a little late, but there you go. So our legs are done, simple as they are, easy. What a wild ride that was. Yes, I know, Chris. Let's see. I've been playing since day one, and my first 5-star was Jean. Ah, nice. My first 5-star was Diluc, like very, very early on in the game. I mean, probably one of my first like 10 pulls. Did a 10 pull and got 2 Dilucs. So I think, I don't know what the stats are as far as like how the game is programmed, but based on what I've seen like from other people and stuff too, like it seems that the game is programmed in a way so that like early on you get really, really lucky with something like that, like pulling 2 of a 5-star in the same 10 pull. Because I mean, like after that, it just never ever happens. But it seems like I've seen like so many posts from people, or so many just comments from people talking about how that's happened to them before. But then again, I mean, I guess that did happen to me fairly recently on the rerun of what's her name? Shit, now I don't even remember. Pink Electro Mommy. What the fuck? Anyway, yeah. Pink Electro Mommy. The Fox Mommy. I don't remember. Because, yeah, I hardly ever play her, but I've had her since when she came out. And, like, on her rerun banner recently, I don't remember why. Why was I even doing that? But I was pulling on the banner and pulled her. And then, like, 2 pulls later, pulled her again. That was just on, like, single pulls. Miko, yeah, Yai Miku. Yai Miko, not Miku. Miko, yes. Right. So, anyway, Robert, your last question? Oh, was it? Okay, here. On my tablet, do you like GB Gundam Battle Online or Gundam Breaker Online too, or have you seen or heard played of it? Yeah, I've heard of it, of course, but no, I don't play it. I was playing the, what was it? It was the Gundam Battle Gunpla Warfare, and I think is that the game you're talking about? I know they changed the name, and I think maybe that's what they changed the name to, although I don't really recall. But if that's the game that you're talking about, that mobile game where you can like build and customize your Gunpla, whatever. I was playing that for a while. And then when I moved from America to Korea, I stopped playing and I never started playing again just because it just wasn't fun anymore. I mean, it's similar to Genshin in a way that I was just logging on and just kind of doing my daily stuff and basically just like to collect everything. But why is this? What's the problem here with this problem? Sorry. Yeah, it just wasn't fun. I don't know. So let's see. Have you ever tried any MS Ensemble figures? No, I've not tried the Ensemble line at all. Okay, that's why that wasn't going on there. I had it backwards, upside down. Okay, that's like that. Then put that aside. Feel like I need to put a polycap inside of there. But the instructions passed by somewhere where I was supposed to put a polycap inside of that. I guess not. Okay, yeah, and there's no polycap that would even work for that. Okay. Anyway. Do you still recommend the MG Zeta 2.0 now that the Verka is about to come out? Also, hi. Feb, to answer your question, I just really can't answer that question quite yet because I've not built the 2.0. Though I am going to be building it probably very soon, hopefully maybe next week. I'll build the 2.0, and then after that, I'll be able to tell you, one way or the other what my recommendation might be. But then again, of course, I've not built the Verka yet either. So, I mean, as you may have seen recently here on the channel, okay, Robert's getting some lag. Sorry about that. As you may have seen recently on the channel, I reviewed the 1.0 MG and then the Zeta Plus C1. And then I will also be reviewing, is that right? I will be reviewing the 2.0 next, ahead of the release of the Verka. So yeah, just stay tuned for that. I mean, if you're wondering which one to go for, my prediction is that the Verka should not be thought of as a 3.0, as like an improved version of the 2.0, but rather a just stylistically another version of the Zeta Gundam. So it's not meant to be a 3.0. If it was a 3.0, they would call it a 3.0, but because it's a Verka, the point of a Verka is that it's the Katoki version of the design, not necessarily that it's an improvement over the previous MG release. So I'm sure there will be improvements, and I'm sure it will be a nice kit, regardless. But I would not expect it to be like similar to what a 3.0 would be, as in like a kind of complete overhaul and improvement of the design. Okay. I keep putting this arm piece together incorrectly. I just did it again. And did I forget a polycap? No, I didn't. There's just no polycap to hold the hand in place, interestingly enough. So, I mean, as far as which version of the Zeta 2.0 or which version of the Zeta to get between the 2.0 and the Verka, I would say go for whichever one you like the style of better, the design of, just because, you know, as far as the build quality and everything, I am guessing they're going to be very similar in terms of just kind of the overall quality of the build and just kind of how well everything moves and how well the transformation works and everything like that. Because the 2.0, even though I've not built the 2.0 as it is, I have built other versions of the 2.0. I guess just only one, the gray Zeta. I've built the gray Zeta anyway, and yeah, it was a good kit. It's basically the 2.0, and it just has like some different parts and whatever here and there. My biggest complaint so far, just based on what I've seen of the Verka, is that it doesn't include Gundam Battle Online 2. Okay, sorry, that's what you were talking about. The new Verka does not include the Mega Beam Launcher, or whatever it's called. I think that's what it's called. I think that's right. It doesn't include that, which is, in my opinion, that's like some serious points off in the comparison between the 2.0 and the Verka. That's a pretty big incentive to go for the 2.0, I feel like, compared to the Verka. But yeah, we will see. And I mentioned this the other day, but I will mention it again, that I've actually built this kit, not the Dendrobium, but the GP03, of course. The HG GP03 was one of the very first kits that I built way long time ago when I started building Gunpla. So over 20 years ago. Back in the Toonami days when you could get Gunpla at like Toys R Us. That's, I'm pretty sure, probably where mine was bought from. But anyway, yeah, had this kit at that time, built it up, and I still have it actually. I believe it's somewhere here, like in Florida, at my house, I think possibly, or it's at my parents' house, in my like childhood room closet. To one of those two places. Let's see. I suppose I did that right. Okay. Anyway, before, back to the question about Gundam Battle Online 2. No, I've not played that at all. So no, I don't know anything about that. I mean, I know about the game, but I've just not played it at all. So no. All right. We got this. Building the second arm, definitely much easier now having put together the first one. Second one's kind of a breeze. The first one was kind of giving me trouble because like the folding bit at the back of the arm, I kept putting things together incorrectly. All right, the main drawback for me is that the Zeta Verka isn't coming with any action base, nor is it coming with the Mega Launcher. Yeah, RF Aurora. Yes, that's another good point. Aside from the launcher, yeah, it doesn't come with a base, which the 2.0 came with. So that's another point for the 2.0. I'm not sure how the price compares. I believe the Verka is more expensive as well. At least in terms of like the list price. I mean, as far as what different retailers are selling it for, I'm not sure. But in case you guys were not aware of this, which I'm sure you may have noticed one way or the other, while shopping, or maybe you just through things that you've bought, or just like seeing prices for different kits and stuff online. If you've noticed in like the last, in about the last year, I guess I'd say, that prices of kits are going up, even not for like new releases, but for like kits. So like the Zeta version 2.0, for example, it's been out now for 10 years or something, I guess. And like, say, for example, it used to sell for, I don't know, $50, and now it's selling for $55 or $60. That's not whoever your preferred retailer is, whether it's USA Gundam Store or whatever, or wherever you're getting your kits from. That's not your preferred retailer getting greedy with the cost of kits, with the pricing of kits. Is that Bandai has raised their prices on kits, so even reprints. So like a kit, so like retailers have to buy, at least for like here in America, and for it depends on the retailer. Anyway, retailers who buy their products directly from Bandai US, they buy them at like a wholesale price, whatever, right? And say, for example, in the past, that wholesale price was, for a $50 kit, the wholesale price was $35, for example, something like that. But then recently, Bandai has been raising their prices. So now, rather than charging wholesale like $35 for a kit, now Bandai is charging $40 for that kit. So as a retailer, you either keep your price the same and make less profit, or you increase your price so that you can maintain the same percent profit on your kits. But unfortunately, then you just have to charge more just because the kit's costing more. So that's definitely been going on. Something we've talked about, like Adam and I, on the USA Gundam TV channel. If you guys aren't watching those live streams that Adam and I do every 2 weeks over there, it's great, I think, for you guys just to be able to kind of know about this kind of stuff, kind of what goes on kind of behind the scenes in the business and all that. But yeah, it's something we've talked about because it's definitely been a thing, unfortunately. But I mean, you understand, just due to like inflation and all that, those of us in the US, I mean, inflation's an issue impacting people in the US, but certainly not only the US, in Japan and a lot of places around the world as well. So yeah, the cost of production and the cost of materials and everything's gone up, and cost of shipping definitely as well, moving the products from Japan to the US. And so all these things, unfortunately, have caused Bandai to have to increase their prices, which, yes, leads to retailers having to increase their prices as well. So bringing that all the way back around to the original point regarding the Master Grade Zeta. So yeah, I'm not sure what the Zeta 2.0 is going for these days. How did I miss removing the nubs on these parts? But yeah, I believe the Verka is more expensive than the Zeta 2.0. My wife said I could get a cheaper kit for Valentine's Day. Which MG should I get? Speedo Baka. Which MG should you get really depends on what's available to you. So MGs these days from most retailers, they're really difficult to keep in stock just because Bandai doesn't make them at the same quantity as like HG kits. So I mean, when a new HG kit or even a reprint of an HG kit comes out, maybe say they'll make like 10,000, and of a MG kit they'll make 3,000, something like that. So again, these are all just kind of estimated numbers. Keep that in mind. But oh, I know why. Let's see. I know why I didn't remove the nubs on this part. These parts, because I wasn't sure where these parts go actually on here. So there's these two thruster bells, and I think these are leftover parts. I'm, for the moment, they definitely don't go on the torso, so I'm gonna set those off to the side for the moment. Anyway, what was I talking about? I don't know. Oh yeah, MG. Yeah, if you're looking for an MG for a holiday, I mean, if you're trying to decide what to get yourself or what to pick out for yourself for Valentine's Day, I think the first thing would be go on to wherever you're planning to buy, whether it be a physical store you're going to, see what's in stock, or if it's an online site or whatever, see what's available first, and then among what's available, then the next step in the decision making process is choose the design that you like, and then the third step is the price of that one that you like, you know fit within the amount that you're thinking that you want to spend, and if so, then there you go. If it's too expensive or maybe too cheap, maybe if it's like your wife or significant other or whatever, who's going to be buying it for you, and say they'll get you something like up to $50, whatever, and you initially choose something and it's only $30, and you're thinking, oh, I could get something a little bit more expensive, then maybe it's too cheap. But more than likely, I guess probably the more likely situation would be that you end up choosing something that's maybe a little too expensive. But Tsunami said it's 2 a.m. and 35 minutes there. Oh yeah, quite early. Saku, that's another interesting point, and this is something that I believe Adam and I have also talked about, that point, because someone has asked about that, I believe, on the USA Gundam TV live streams as well on there. Saku mentioned that maybe Bandai needs to make another factory outside of Japan to reduce the shipping cost. Now, I just think that there's just no way that that would work for them logistically, because if they have to have another factory, yes, but then they need to make a whole new set of molds. Molds are expensive to produce. I mean, I guess like if you're thinking like, in the big picture, to produce another set of molds compared to, how much money they can make off of selling kits using those molds, I mean, I guess it's probably a pretty good payoff for that. But yeah, the logistics of that, I think, is the main inhibiting factor for making like a factory in the US or anywhere else. If they were to make another factory like in China or in Korea, it would of course have to be in a place where they're selling a lot of products, right? And America is certainly a growing market for Bandai model kits and everything, but still, it's still small in comparison. So, making another factory in Japan for them makes sense, because that's kind of where everything is. I just don't think, even though the demand for stuff here in the US is certainly growing, it's still not to the point where I think it would justify for them to make a factory here, just because of the logistics of everything. Because then, I don't know, then they either have to make everything here, or they would make some stuff here and some stuff there. And if they're making, like, say, kit A, they make a bunch of in Japan, kit B, they make a bunch of at a factory here, but then whatever they make here, they need to send some over in Japan, and a big quantity of that over to Japan, because Japan is still where their main market is. So different things like that, I think, make it difficult for Bandai to probably ever expand their production process outside of Japan. I think that's where the majority of their customers are, so that's where it makes sense for them to keep their production. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really have no idea if it's something that anyone at Bandai has ever even maybe considered, possibly, but I would kind of doubt it. I would assume that, they're concerns with wanting to meet the demands of customers here in the US, it probably is limited to just getting over here as much as they can. But considering, like I've said before, that many times, that Bandai basically is just printing money at this point. So they just can't keep up with the demand. So whatever they can manage to produce, they'll have no trouble selling. So it's a good problem to have for them. I think they are planning on making another factory, as I'm aware. But that is, still going to be in Japan. So we shall see. I think the only real way that we're going to see much like improvement for customers here in the US is just for Bandai just to be able to produce more there, and not to be able to only just produce more, but also be able to kind of have the logistics in place to then move those products from there to here a little bit more seamlessly, kind of without with less delays, and just kind of faster, simpler, cheaper, these type of things. If they can work that stuff out, then they'll be doing plenty fine to serve the needs of the customers here in the US, I think, without having to go like quite as extreme as building a whole factory here. Because think about it, it's only a few years ago that they just opened a second factory, and that was right before COVID. And then just because of the super extreme increase in demand, due in large part to COVID, is why they're now just on the heels of opening a second factory. Now they're already having to open a third one. So yeah, like I said, it's all good problems for Bandai to have, but certainly complicated. Do the arms have that folding gimmick like in the anime? Yes. Unicron Gundam on Twitch. Yes, they do. I'll zoom a little bit here for you guys to show you that. So yeah, the arm bends out and this part opens up. If I can get that, there you go. It opens out like that and like that, and then the ends of this do open up. So when you get this HG kit on its own, I mean, because the only real reason that you kind of really need this is for the Dendrobium. So when you have just the GP03 on its own as just a HGUC kit, I mean, that gimmick. It's a cool gimmick, but there's not really too much really to do with that. It's only with the Dendrobium that you really have a way to use that, having it pose like holding on to the kind of subarm, kind of attachment arms for the Dendrobium. Okay, let's get our head put together, and we're coming along pretty good here. Do we need a polycap in the head? No. Okay. We do, of course, have a few stickers. I will say, so as I mentioned, I built this kit years and years and years ago, and my memory, I mean, of the kit at the time, I'm sure I enjoyed the kit well enough, but then like I have gone back and looked at the kit since then, and I mean, I just remember thinking like not that great of a kit. I mean, it's from 2001, I want to say. The Dendrobium's 2002, so I think this kit on its own came out maybe 2001, before the Dendrobium. Was it before or after? One of the two. And I just remember thinking, looking back at the kit, like, it's definitely an older HG. It's nothing really fancy at all, and it's kind of janky, really, to be honest. But I don't know, putting it together now, I mean, I wouldn't say it's great by any means, but it's not bad. Yeah. It would take some love to really get it to be its best, but for a kit of its age, I mean, I feel like, oops, forgot the antenna. You have to expect that a kit this old is going to take a little TLC to really bring out its full potential. Out of the box, it's just not really going to be anything too impressive. There's this little side antenna, and then we got some cameras for in the head. There's one for the back of the head. Yes. You know, these cameras, these head camera stickers look too big. The one for the front and the one in the back seem kind of too big for the space, but okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Come on, get in there. All right. They're probably not well versed in labor and tax laws in the US either, so it makes sense to increase their footprint in a familiar region. I mean, yeah, ultimately, I think like labor and tax laws, stuff like that. I mean, if Bandai was really, really committed to the idea of trying to, greatly greatly increase their production here locally in the US, or at least in North America, I mean, if they're already considering that, then I'm sure they can figure out like different labor laws and things like that. I mean, for as big a company they are, I'm sure they have plenty of lawyers even here in the US already, just for like Bandai Namco US. I'm sure they have lawyers either on staff, somebody that is kind of that's part of their job, or somebody who works with them or whatever that they can get. So I don't think that would necessarily be much of an issue for them, for a company that size. I mean, they're probably used to dealing with things like that for all sorts of other different reasons. So okay, now for the backpack, got this. And this one here. Oh. Let's see. I think Bandai will make more Zeta or Double Zeta kits given the Zeta Verka. I would definitely love to see an MG Palace Athene or RE100. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Yeah, I would love to see that as well. Palace Athene would be a cool one. Whether it be MG or RE100, I think that's a really good. I mean, yet another really good example of a design that would make for a fantastic RE100 kit. Totally agree. But it would seem that the RE100 line is a little bit out at the moment. It's either completely dead or Bandai is just kind of given up on it for the most part for the time being, it seems like. PCN. It's unfortunate, but yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, with the Zeta Verka coming out, I mean, just think about all the kind of more obscure type mobile suits that really wouldn't make sense for them to make a full-on MG of, but mobile suits that, they could make an RE100, whether it be the Palace Athene, or I think there's probably a lot of other different options that would make sense for a release to kind of coincide a little bit with the 100 or with the Verka. But I don't know. It seemed like a cool kind of theme that they had going for like there for a little while, for a couple of years. They'd have like the new Verka, not the new Verka, or just a new MG and a new. Again, I'm not talking like new Gundam, NEW, new RE100 kit and Verka coming out at the same time. Anyway, yes, that was cool. But I don't know. I guess the RE100 releases were just not selling that well, it seems like. But then again, it didn't really seem like Bandai was really producing them that many. I don't know. Producing that many of them. Okay. This backpack. I somehow kind of strangely remember this backpack being kind of weird. The assembly of it. It's not weird, but compared to the rest of the kit, that's all like quite straightforward. Well, I guess the forearm's also kind of weird too, but whereas most of the kit is kind of simple. Yeah, there's a few little bit more complex parts of the build. Makes sense. The forearm makes a lot of sense, and then the backpack here as well. That's just gonna pop onto there like that. And then we just got the weapons, and that's it for this guy. As I was mentioning on the stream the other day, you do have one new additional weapon with this version that you don't get in just the regular HGUC. And that's just an extra bazooka, which is slightly different from the version of the bazooka that you get with the HGUC version, or with the GP03 on its own, I guess I should say. Oh yeah, so these two little thruster bells. We've got these couple of leftover parts, these two little thruster bells. Those must be from the Core Fighter. So that's the other difference, is that you have the addition of this bazooka, which the regular version on its own doesn't have. And you have the subtraction of the Core Fighter. That's not included with this. But there's the new bazooka, and it doesn't fold like the other one that we have. So it's the non-folding. I wonder if... No, I guess it wouldn't be. I don't know. I'm just going to say, I wonder if this is the like same mold. It can't be from the same runner, but if it's the same mold from a weapon from like a gym custom or something, it seems like this is like would be from a gym custom kit or something along those lines, but I don't know. Okay, beam rifle. It's very easy. We've got the secondary handle right in there. Doesn't want to stay there. So that goes to the front. Have to hold that in place. Camera is going to clip onto there, and that one right there. Okay, there's our beam rifle. Easy enough. Here's your beam saber, the old toothpick. Everybody loves that. Yo. You're on live. I'm sorry. I am. That's fine. What's up? I just didn't get the TikTok. You didn't? You sure? Yeah. It didn't go through again?
Did you do it on
Messenger?
Oh, Facebook?
No. Sorry. Just like a text message.
Yeah, no, I didn't get it.
Did you get the order number?
Nope.
What the? Yeah, hang on.
Sorry, I forgot you're on live.
It's okay. Let me know if that goes through. Because I can't even find the piece that I need. Here it is.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Anyway, one thing that I did do when I built this kit a long time ago, way back in the day, was I did paint part of it, the shield, because the shield's all in white, and the shield is supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be partially blue, right? Yeah. So parts of it are supposed to be blue. And so I did paint that. Just like very poorly. I mean, I don't even know. I think it was just like with some, was it Tamiya or like, not Mr. Color, but like, whatever it's called. I don't know, that brand. Anyway. What's the like American enamel paint brand? That's what it was. Testers, I think it was. It was like a Testers paint, I think, that I used for that at the time. There should be that little piece. Where's that little piece? Do I not have that little piece? Uh-oh. I don't have that piece. And I'm wondering if it's not here, then it's not anywhere. And that means I may have not cut it off the runner, and it may be gone because all the runners from this are already in the recycling. As in, like, gone, taken by the recycling. Okay, let's see. From runner E. So yeah, it was a little ABS part. Number 9. And it's the part that I need to make the bazooka fold in half. And I don't think I have that part. It's not here, and so unless I missed it in the box, nope. I'm gonna guess that I must have not cut that part off the runner and thrown it away. That's unfortunate. I'll look around for it, but assuming that I can't find that part, we may not be able to fold a bazooka. Well, not in the proper way. So that's supposed to be like that with a little connection piece in between. But yeah, without that, our bazooka is kind of out of luck. That's too bad. When you already threw the runners out. Yeah, the runners already thrown away. Now, fortunately, it's like a small piece that goes inside the bazooka. So, you know, if I really want to use the bazooka, all I need to do is just kind of scratch build a little piece just to be able to hold that together. Not that big of a deal, but that's a shame. It's not anywhere around here. I don't know. I'm just gonna guess I must have not cut that one out, because yep, I don't think it's here. Hey, who's watching my stream? I just like heard myself echo. Adam, do you have the stream on in there? I think he does. Okay. Anyway, so that's it for this guy. Let's go ahead and put this away over here. And move on to the Gerbera Tetra. This in here too. All right. Scratch build it is. Yep, you can make that connection piece likely with an easy cut of a runner and sand the edges, slap it on. Yeah. Easy thing to have to scratch build. Now, and even easier if I want to make it in a way that it's not like an actual like operating piece to like be able to like actually fold. But you know, if it's just a piece just to be able to connect it together and just have it be like that, whether it's folded or unfolded, all it really needs to do is just hold the two halves of the bazooka together. It should be easy enough. Okay. But for right now, don't need that. And as I was talking about at the beginning of the stream, I'm not even planning on using the GP03 with the Dendrobium. I will show it for the review, but then after that, I won't be using it for that. So the GP03 was always just going to be going straight into the kind of spare parts bin, as it were. So not too big of a deal if it's missing that part for the bazooka. It's a shame, but yeah, easy fix if I need it to be fixed. Okay, anyway, all right, so the Gerbera Tetra, cool mobile suit kit that has been out for a while. When did this get released? 2013. Yeah, that's what it was. We were just talking about that earlier. 2013. Some really cool aspects to the design. Obviously, like the big shoulders, the backpack are super cool. Isotope, just in time for the Tetra. Yes, nice. Okay, what are you putting in there? So stationary easy fix. Yeah, Stillville. If you're coming in later, there on Twitch, what I was mentioning about earlier about what my plan is, fingers crossed if I can work on it. Plan for the Dendrobium is to not use the GP03, but in fact use the Lunadiver Stingray Machining Krieger kit. During the live stream build of that of the Dendrobium last week, I had the realization that it would look really cool, like to be painted in like Machining Krieger styling, since it's a kind of very similar design in a way, similar to the Lunadiver Stingray. And then over the weekend, after thinking about that idea some more, I thought it would actually work really quite well to be actually not only just taking the painting style, but actually physically kit bashed with the Lunadiver Stingray. So that's the idea for now. You know, hopefully we can actually make it happen. All right. Interesting way that the chest goes together on this. It's quite unique. Really love just the design, the shapes and everything of the Gerbera Tetra. It's such a cool design. PC8. And it looks like we're going to have a decent kind of little ab crunch here in the stomach section of this, possibly. Rather than just a single ball joint between the top and bottom half of the body, it's got a ball joint between the torso, like the chest and the stomach part, and then another ball joint between the stomach part and the hip section. But it doesn't actually really seem like there's much movement here. So actually, I take that back. There's not really much to speak of. But let's see if I can figure out the correct way to install these piping parts. I think that's right. Come on. That looks right. Oh. All right. First impression of the model kit. So first impression of this kit, yeah, it's very interesting. I was just saying, it's just a really cool design. So, and a fairly modern kit. 2013 is not that old. So, kind of in my mind, 2013 would certainly be part of the kind of more modern HGUC releases, where they're pretty overall quite nice. Which Gerbera Tetra design do you like for 0083 Build Fighters or Dragon Momokos? I very vaguely remember the Dragon Momoko version. Or was it? No. It wasn't Dragon Momoko. There was another company that made a kind of 1/100 scale version of the Gerbera Tetra. I didn't really like it. It kind of I don't know. I didn't really care for the proportions of it that much. But I know there was a couple of other different versions of the Gerbera Tetra of this kit that came out as P Bandai. I think there was at least one. There was like a rollout version that had a little bit different like head on it, and I think I want to say that there was one other version that came out. Both of which are pretty cool. I think it was the rollout version was the one that had like the kind of white antennas on the head. That was really cool. I did really like that version. Didn't get it, don't have it, but it was quite interesting. All right, let's see. If I can get that sticker in there. Yes, so let's see. Is the Tetra a Katoki design? Astop asked. Brian said that it's a not Katoki for the Tetra. Oh, did not know that. But yeah, then going back to still on Twitch, saying that the whole Lunadiver Stingray idea, he said that it would work pretty well, especially with the right painting and scribing. Yeah, I probably won't do any scribing. It's kind of mostly going to be reliant on the painting to really kind of tie the whole project together, just with it being Maschinen Krieger. So much of the look relies on the painting aspect of that. So yeah, the other thing is that I will probably do a little bit of not scribing but customization, just in terms of maybe just like adding some like greebly details kind of stuff here and there, just to make it look a little bit more in the style of Maschinen Krieger, and just to kind of help kind of meld the two kits together, having the Lunadiver kind of inside the Dendrobium, essentially like the front half of the Lunadiver in the part of the Dendrobium where the Gundam would sit. So there'll be a little bit of like modification that it will require to make that fit and make that work. And then like kind of, yeah, there'll be a little bit of kind of details having to be added, just like adding little bits here and there, because that's what like a lot of the Maschinen Krieger kits really are. I mean, it's just like a lot of like kit bashing, little parts, adding little parts and things like that to different existing kits and things like that. And so I figure, we were supposed to add that sticker onto the front, were we? Yes. I figure just doing a little bit of that, adding a couple little parts here and there, just to kind of give it the kind of general look. And then also the painting. And that really should be all that it needs to look how it's supposed to look properly. Where's that antenna piece? Don't tell me I'm missing another part already. I'm sure it's around in here somewhere. There it is. It just crept. Sometimes that's the only thing with this box, is that the compartments, like when it's closed, like stuff, like really, really tiny parts can still sneak, like they can't get out of the box entirely, but they can kind of creep from one, as it's kind of shaking around everything, they can go from one section into another section. So especially like happens a lot with head parts, because heads have a lot of small little parts in there. So what tends to happen sometimes is I'll be putting the head together on a kit and I'm missing like one tiny little part. And the thing is that it just moved from one part of the box into another section. All right. So another really awesome aspect of the Gerbera Tetra design that I love is the head. Definitely, it's such a cool looking head. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. So yeah, love that head design, that torso design. It's so cool. It's very similar, like I don't know, just kind of in the overall shape of it, it does remind me a lot kind of the Sazabi a bit, right? It doesn't have the big antenna on the top, but just kind of the general shape and obviously the color. It's very reminiscent of the Sazabi, it seems like. Okay. ARM. They won't make any RE100 anymore. The event forgot about FM Forbidden after FM Raider. Yeah, the RE100 line, it would seem, is kind of dead. I mean, I haven't seen anything from Bandai saying officially that they're not going to make any more. I mean, they're definitely going to reprint some of the ones that they have already produced. But as far as, producing any new ones, yeah, I mean, it's kind of up in the air at the moment. It seems like not, but that doesn't completely mean that it's dead. Like, for example, the mega size line, I expected after the first few releases from the mega size line that we weren't going to ever see any new mega size kits ever, and then they out of the blue announced the mega size unicorn years later. So I mean, just because we don't see anything new from a particular line for a while, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's gone forever. But yeah, I mean, it definitely does seem that way, that the RE100 line, at least for the time being, is not it's at least it's not Bandai's main focus, that's for sure. But I don't know. I think it is very likely we will see another full mechanics case. So we're getting the full mechanics aerial. So after the full mechanics aerial, I think it's very possible that we'll get the next full mechanics seed enemy suit, which would be the Forbidden Gundam. I guess, right? Is what would be the next one. So yeah, right. Yeah, Brett also pointing out the fact, yeah, that the aerial's coming out in the. It's easy to forget, I think, just because so much of the focus of like the hype for Witch from Mercury has been on the HG kits, but yeah, it's kind of, and there's a lot of people, of course, hoping for an MG aerial. But in the meantime, yeah, kind of easy to forget that the full mechanics aerial is also on the way. So that'll be out, and then if we see any other full mechanics kits from the Witch from Mercury, I'm not sure. I think after the aerial, we may see like the kind of the upgraded, like the aerial rebuild, maybe, or whatever else, whatever other upgrade we might see to the aerial, we might see out in the full mechanics line. But I kind of doubt that we'll see too much more than that, like a Lifrith or anything else. I don't know. In the line, I'm pretty doubtful. Pyrus, they're on Twitch with a very enthusiastic, yo, it's the man, the myth, the legend, Zacharilius. Yes, sure, if you say so. Not sure that's the kind of way I would address myself or way I would expect to be addressed, but yeah, sure. Thank you. Just thanks for checking it out, for watching. I would kill so hard for a full mechanics Garibaldi. Yeah, I mean, like, there's certainly a lot of designs that would be cool. It's kind of similar in a way to the fact that there's a lot of really great, Iron-Blooded Orphans designs that, Bandai made the one IBO MG kit, the Barbatos, and then we haven't gotten anything else since then. So it would certainly make sense to see some new IBO MG kits, but who knows? So I imagine and that's not the only example, but that's an easy example to cite. But it's a good example of how, just because there's a lot of options there for Bandai to choose from, they may choose the option of nothing at all. So we just have to wait and see. But yeah, I would expect the full mechanics line from the Witch from Mercury to be quite short-lived. We'll see an aerial, and then probably that's about it. But yeah, then fingers crossed, we will get an MG aerial. I think that's pretty safe to assume. We'll see an MG aerial probably next year. And then, yeah, I don't know. That could also go similar to the Armed Blood Orphans releases, in that we'll see an MG aerial and then no other MGs, if ever, or for a very long time from that line. So I don't know. Just have to wait and see. I saw a really cool, like, kind of hack on Twitter recently for like thruster bells, and so I want to do a video. I want to touch on that in a video in the near future. But it was really interesting, I thought, of just how to make like thruster bells, especially on like HG kits, look nicer. So I have to keep that in mind. Remember to do that in an upcoming video, whether I do it like at the end of the video, and which is something that I need to do some more of, just like the little build tip, whatever, at the end of the video, like end of the review. You're doing it in that way, or just as like a standalone video, just talking about here's a tip you can do to make your thruster bells look nicer. Wouldn't work necessarily on this one or that one, but some of them. So I had to find a kit that would work well on the. There's one arm, and yeah, really cool design here for the shoulders of the Gerbera Tetra. One of the many really interesting design features of this mobile suit, but certainly one of the most prominent features of the design, right? The huge, massive shoulder thrusters, which seem like completely like not realistic at all, because it's got these massive thrusters out to the side. So what is it gonna like go to the side to side super fast? I mean, it has a big one out the back as well, but it seems like forward thrust would be kind of the more important aspect. But all right, so let's see. MGEX, the O or Xeon would be cool. Both kits can use a 2.0. Anyway, what's the question here? Please do I need a better technique for the inside of them? Yeah, well, actually, speaking of the inside of the thrusters, that's a whole different thing, but I do have a completely different kind of different from what I was just thinking about. As far as like how to paint the inside of the thrusters, I've had this idea in mind for a video, just like kind of showing a few different ways of how you can go about painting the inside of thrusters. That's an idea that's kind of been in the back of my mind for a long time. But yeah, no, the idea that I'm thinking of at the moment is more to do with talking about how to just make them just kind of look nicer, not painting, but just like a modification. Just a very simple little modification. That's all. But yeah, I could like combine that into just one video showing like how to modify the thruster bell to look nicer just as it is, painting or not, and then also kind of, and then if you do want to paint, here's a couple of techniques of how you can more easily paint these parts. So yeah, good idea. Could be combined, I think. So we'll have to do that. Just tape it. I mean, yeah, taping it is one option. And I mean, yes, I know it's one of those things that seems so simple. But, not just because it might seem simple, maybe not to everyone. And then there's also different ways to do it. So I mean, maybe like there's one simple way, but there's another way which is maybe just equally as simple, but might work out a little bit better for someone in particular. So it just kind of depends which technique you might want to go for. So I figure at least it's worthwhile to make a video and show a couple of different options that you can choose from for different ways to go out painting the inside of the thruster bells. because it's obviously something that almost every Gundam kit has that detail in one way or another. So yes, there's a few different ways to go about it. All right. Get our other arm built up. Then we can move on to the hips section, which is actually later. The hip is only like 3 parts. It's very simple. I take that back. 1, 2, 3, 4 parts plus a polycab. So there you go. You see one here for the shoulder. Seriously, how do you use that? Oh, Razzie, how do you use that Display hand stabilizer, not hand sanitizer? The hand stabilizer. I don't know. You mentioning it is the first time I've ever heard of it as well. So I'll have to check. I really don't know anything about it. But yeah, especially if we have some, I'll check. Is the long and short answer there for you. But definitely make sure to remind me again about it later if I don't get back to you, because I'm just telling you just because I know how bad my memory is that I won't remember to check. Just because I'm in the middle of doing this, and then when I'm done with the stream, I'll be doing something else, and I'm just gonna forget. So make sure you remind me later if you don't hear back from me, because I will check for you. It's just being real with you and telling you that it's likely I'll at least forget at first. All right. Did I put these on backwards? No, I don't think so. There's our arms. Our upper body is done. All right. So for the waist, we need PC1, of course. Let's see. Little conclusion is they need to up their rate of releasing 100 scale kits. R100 or MG, 8th MS Team, Stardust Memory, Stone Age kits that need updating, loose joints, lack of details. And yeah, it comes back to the point that I've talked about, I know, if not on either on my live streams or on the USA Gundam TV live streams with Adam and I. We've talked about this, I know, seems like a couple of times recently, that the thing is just that Bandai can't do everything all at once. So, I mean, yeah, for us, kind of from the outside looking in, it seems like, why doesn't Bandai make this? Why don't they make more of this? And wouldn't this be popular? And et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, like, just think about all the different things that they do make, and you can understand, I mean, they can't make everything all at once as much as we would like it. It certainly seems like to us from the outside that there's a lot of things that Bandai could be doing differently or making more of a particular type of kit or whatever we may like. But, at the end of the day, they're still making all their decisions based on what they're capable of doing, what they think is going to make them the most money. So they are still a company at the end of the day. So that is, of course, always going to be their main concern. So, yep. But I agree. I mean, if I was in charge, there's certain things that I think would make a lot of sense. PC10. Loving the HG releases, but the MG releases feel glacial. Yeah, definitely. In recent years, if you're a fan of new MG kits, it certainly has been very few and far between. But I mean, here's another way you could look at it, was that, with so much time in between releases of MG kits, and look at it this way, that gives you more time to really enjoy those kits in the between time by, customizing, painting, whatever you might want to do with those particular kits. And I mean, the other thing to keep in mind is that although we may not get a lot of new kits frequently in terms of like MGs, there are a lot of MGs, that already exist. So I mean, like, if you're really dying to build a new MG, chances are there's probably plenty of MGs that are already released that you don't have, that you've never built yet. So I mean, just because you don't have a new one to build doesn't mean that you have nothing to choose from. Zach, when you see Adam, can you ask him how the stock is looking on the 1/100 scale Stalev? I wanted to pick one up, but I'm trying to spread purchases. Hey, Adam, can you come here for a second? Thank you. Chris wants to know the 1/100 scale, the Stalev, the that blue Orange Cat Industries kit, the new one. Do we have a fair amount of those still left, or
no? There might be like 3 left.
You hear that, Chris? There might be like 3 left. So he said he wants one, but he's trying to space out his purchases.
I don't think I have more coming right now.
So okay, that's all. That's what Chris wanted to know. So figure if you're right there, I could ask you right away.
Yeah.
So there you go, Chris. Yeah, if sounds like if you want one, you may have to move a little bit fast. I'm sure we probably will be able to get more, but it sounded like we don't have any more coming like at the moment, so it might be a little bit of a wait if you want to wait until we get more. Sounds like. Let's see. Let's be honest. That pile of shame won't get smaller by itself. I mean, yeah, that's a good point too. I mean, like, again, just going back to what I was saying about, having kits to build or lack of new kits to build. Even if you wish Bandai would make more new kits, but they're not, making new kits. Either just not making the ones that you want, or not making, new kits at the speed that you want, whatever the case may be. I mean, yeah, there's plenty of old kits to choose from. Or, I mean, yeah, chances are you probably have plenty of kits in your backlog to choose from without having to even buy anything new. So, I mean, I'm sure that's the case with many of us in this hobby. So it's never really, that much. This is why I don't really get too animated on the subject of, Bandai not making this or that or whatever, is because, like, just because we don't have more new kits coming out, that surely would be nice. It's not like there's a lack of stuff to build. And then even still, there's builds. I mean, like, there's plenty of kits out there that I've built and would love to build again. So, I mean, there's that too. Yeah. Even for kits that I already have built before. If my choice was to either, like, if I have absolutely nothing to do and there's no new kits coming out that I'm interested in, I mean, surely there's plenty of great kits that maybe it's one that you already built and you wouldn't mind building another one. Building it in a different way. Maybe you built one like a MG Barbatos or something, for example. Maybe you built one and you built it like kind of out of the box, as in like its original color scheme and everything. But hey, maybe you want to, you enjoyed the build a lot, and so it's a good opportunity to just, if you have a chance to buy one, as in like if it's in stock or whatever, pick one up and then build it again and make it different this time, something like that. So there's certainly plenty of things to do. And then, hey, if you're really not happy with what Bandai's putting out and you don't have anything on hand that you want to build, and then there's also the option to look to other companies as well. Like Kotobukiya makes a lot of really great model kits. Maybe Wave or Hasegawa, Max Factory, or whatever, have some of their model kits that you might be interested in. So it's not like there's ever a lack of stuff to build. That's my point. So there you have it. Al Gundam or AI? Is it Al or AI Gundam? Said, yo, what I miss? Well, you missed most of everything. I'm kind of almost done. Sorry to say. Just finishing up the end of the Gerbera Tetra here. We still have the rifle and the backpack to put together, but those are like just a couple of parts each, so there's not really too much going on there. Almost done. Al. Okay, good. That's what got me into Mecha Musume kits, Supito Baka says. So yeah, you know, branching out from just waiting for Bandai to release this or that or whatever. Yeah, it's a good way to do exactly that. Try other things that you might actually really enjoy. So, like Mecha Musume kits, obviously one of the branches that I particularly enjoy. I love building those. And Machine and Krieger is another one. Really enjoy building those. So of course, like, still Gunpla is still gonna be like my original love, but you know, there's a lot of really good stuff out there. And you know, if you're just only sticking to Gunpla, I mean, you know, maybe that's genuinely, you know, what you're primarily interested in, and you're just not really interested in, you know, trying out other things, and I guess that's fine. But certainly, in my opinion, it's worthwhile to try out different type of kits and all that. So. All right. Pretty cool construction for the leg in that it doesn't really have any seam lines. The seams are made up just as panel lines on the front. The front of the leg, the front of the lower leg is all a single piece. You have a seam here at the back, but it's made up as a panel line detail. And for the thigh is just two halves that just sandwich together, but that as well has a panel line detail where the seam is, so you don't need to worry about that. So it seems really well engineered for the seam lines. Uh-oh, so I got that part backwards. There we go. But then you go to the arms, and interestingly, just like with the HG, the Origin Zaku 2 kits, I don't know what it is with Bandai, thinking like anytime they make a HG Xeon kit, it's got to have a seam line in the forearm. They just cannot make a HG 1/44 scale Xeon kit that doesn't have a seam in the forearm. I don't know what their deal is. But at any rate, it's got it. Just like so many other HG 1/44 scale Xeon kits, unfortunately. And then on the top of the shoulder here as well, of course, that's pretty standard for HGs in general. But yeah, the legs are done really well, no seams. The arms, it's like they're done by a different designer who just did not care. So, fair enough. Backpack. Let's see. PC2. We here. It's obviously for the alternate backpack if you want the ice cream cone backpack. So that's on there. Uh-oh. GP03 is the underrated AF. Yeah, it's a cool mobile suit design. It's just unfortunate that both the MG and HG versions are so dated that they're, you know, unfortunately not really all that exciting as far as the kits go. But Yeah, the GP03 design in general, yeah, it's a cool design. It would be nice if we could get a new version of that. Just two big halves sandwiching together for a big old seam line on this backpack. So you have the option. You can just choose, you know, this one, which is pretty cool, or this big one, which I like. This version, which is kind of like a, seems like a carrot, like a snowman carrot nose kind of thing, complete with like eyes and a kind of giant, super weird mustache out the side. I love the fact that it's got the fuel tanks, because anything with fuel tanks, I can get behind that. And just like the whole thing is just like this big, massive stabilizer, which is really cool. But I don't know, having the backpack just kind of simple like that is also kind of nice. Oh, and I keep forgetting to put this sticker here on the chest. Let me do that before I forget, and then we'll build the rifle and we'll be done. Okay, this tiny little sticker here in the front. We will be done, and I will be wishing you all a happy Valentine's Day. So yeah, as we're getting ready to wrap up the stream here, because I'll be done in just a second with the rifle, I want to ask you guys, what's your plan for tonight? Or if, depending on what time zone you're in, maybe it's already, Valentine's Day is kind of already for the most part done, or you know, whatever the case may be. What's your Valentine's Day plan, either for this coming evening, or if you've already done it, or whatever the case may be? Doing anything special for Valentine's Day? Next Christmas, Gerbera snowman. I was trying to think of how you might be able to do that. I mean, like, I don't know, could be cool. Some kind of Gerbera snowman something, or I mean, there's, speaking of Machine Krieger, there's the Machine Krieger. I mean, there's the snowman version of the suit. I think it's of the Fireball, I believe. Is that right? There's a rifle and the camera sticker for that. Is this for a review? Scar Claw. Yes, I will be reviewing this. So yeah, I figured since I'm reviewing the Gerbera, since I'm reviewing the Dendrobium, and I just happen to have this kit in my backlog, I dug it out of the backlog, and I'll review this along with the Dendrobium. Both versions of the Dendrobium, by the way. So we'll do the HGUC version of the Dendrobium first, and then I do also have the HG Mechanics version, so we can review that one as well. Just put this stuff here to the side. The HG Mechanics version, much smaller. Let's see. Here's these two side by side. They're not gonna like sit properly. Lean them up because they both kind of have big stuff going out the back that keeps them from being able to like lay down flat so that you guys can see them in the right way. But yeah, the Gerbera Tetra, as I expected. I'm not sure if this is accurate to the anime, that the Gerbera Tetra is a little bit larger. Not that much, but like you can see it's a little bit bigger. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, but you guys can let me know if it is. If it's actually like canon, if that's supposed to be a little bit bigger. It's a little bit taller. I feel like it's probably not necessarily, like in canon, it's probably like the same height roughly. It's just because it's a newer kit and they just kind of updated the proportions a little bit, made it a little bit more taller. That I believe is accurate, still says, because I got the GP04 was bigger. The GP04, yeah, I mean the 1/100 scale compared to like the GP03 MG, is that what you're saying? Like those two compared to each other? Isaac, do you still use SMS paints? Looking to get into airbrushing, and I think I want to use SMS. So yeah, recently I've only been using SMS paints for hand painting, which you can use them for certainly. But yeah, generally generally most people would be using them for airbrushing. Yes, and yeah, they work perfectly well for that. Hopefully I'll be getting back to airbrushing very soon, but when I was doing a lot more airbrushing, I primarily use Mr. Color or Gaia, just because they're good solid paints, and when I was in Korea they were very easily accessible. Now that I'm here in the US, and especially now that I'm here at USA Gundam Store where we sell other different brands, SMS is one, E7, Sunin, these other brands, I want to try experimenting with those a little more, just so that you guys can kind of see and compare. You can see just like through my builds how the different paints kind of look. I mean, they're all generally going to look basically the same, so long as you kind of get a feel for the differences, because every paint kind of, it sounds kind of weird, maybe it doesn't really make sense, but feels a little bit different when you paint it. So you kind of have to kind of get used to like kind of the touch, how this paint is particularly used. But you know, so long as you're applying the paint properly and with a bit of practice, I mean, the end result should all basically kind of be essentially the same. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, GP04 was 18 meters, GP03 stamina 18.2. It's because HG or difference. Yeah, if you guys are saying, if you're checking and they're supposed to be right about the same height, yeah, I would chalk it up to that the GP03 HG kit is just an older one, and you know the proportions maybe aren't quite right to make it the exact right size. I mean, I can try to measure it, but it's kind of hard to get it completely flat here. It's like 12.5 centimeters tall. So I mean, what would that be? Let's see. 12.5, 12.5 times 144, 18. So yeah, it actually is exactly 18. And so maybe it's the Gerbera Tetra that's a little bit too tall. Let's see. That is, well, it's also, I mean, it's also pretty close. The actual head height, I think it's just the Gerbera HG kit. Probably just looks bigger. Yeah, the head height is kind of basically the same. It's just because the shoulders are coming up a little bit taller, it seems like. I mean, looking at them side by side, I mean, they do actually look probably, head height is about the same, actually. So anyway, there you go. All right, so with that, our HGUC Dendrobium is now complete. I'm going to work on that review for you guys tomorrow. I don't think that that review will be posted tomorrow. Probably it'll be posted on Thursday or Friday. I've got something else to go up in the meantime, but yeah, we'll do the HGUC review of the Dendrobium and the HG Mechanics Dendrobium, the Gerbera Tetra, and then that will be it for reviews kind of revolving around the Dendrobium, and then we can work on customizing the Dendrobium. Hopefully, we'll see. So that's my plan, ideally. Okay, so anyway, that's gonna be it for the live stream today. Thank you guys for hanging out. What's the next live stream? I don't know offhand. Probably, I don't know. We'll see. I'll let you know. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.